am personally absolutely delighted to be here chairing this session because it is the launch of REAL, and I think this means real business in terms of education, how we get the things done that we need to get done. It's about marginalised young people, particularly, who are not getting education, and it particularly REAL, the new unit, will focus on South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. So there is a real purpose and cause here. You will hear later on as well about the partnership that has just been established with CAMFED, which is a wonderful mix of the two, the educational side and also CAMFED really working deeply on the ground. And REAL is about research on equality and on access to learning. So that's what its title in full is. And you can see how good it is to have that sort of partnership, because what the unit is trying to do is to really understand what works, particularly for marginalised children and particularly for young women in education. So that's what we're launching today, which is absolutely fantastic, and you're going to hear some excellent speakers in a moment. But first, I'm going to ask Stuart Laing to welcome us, because he is kindly the person whose auditorium we're sitting in. He's the master of Corpus Christi College, and Stuart, if you'd like to just say a few words.
Thank you, Barbara. Yes, I'm Stuart Laing. I'm the master of Corpus Christi College, one of the 31 colleges of the university. I'm not sure that this lavish description of our hosting you is entirely justified, because I have a horrible suspicion that you are paying a good fee to our catering and conference department for the privilege of being here. But more seriously, let me say how pleased we are to be able to host this conference. We are all, I think, aware, though sometimes we put this awareness to the back of our minds, that inequalities of opportunity in education are deeply damaging to societies, and marginalising girls and young women also can cause great damage. But I think also we are aware that we can do more to understand better what is going on, and to research more deeply the issues and the facts that underlie this, and also to increase effectiveness in combating it. And so here we have together two organisations, CAMFED and REAL, who can both contribute in their different ways to this, in a way which will be, I hope, deeply beneficial to the societies who suffer from these problems. So I wish your endeavours every success. Corpus Christi College thoroughly supports all endeavours of this kind, and I hope that this afternoon's conference and the launch of REAL will be entirely successful, as it deserves to be. Thank you.
I'm now going to introduce a second person to welcome you here, and that is the Vice-Chancellor of Cambridge University. I'm going to try to say it properly. It's Professor Sir Leszek Borysiewicz, and he's commonly known as Boris to everybody, so which is, I realise I had forgotten how to pronounce the rest of it, because it's always Boris. It's absolutely wonderful to have the Vice-Chancellor here. For those who like history, like the Australians, he is the 345th Vice-Chancellor of Cambridge University. He is an outstanding medical scientist, particularly in the area of vaccines. He's been the Chief Executive of the UK's Medical Research Council, and we're all of us, very pleased that he is our Vice-Chancellor, and I leave it to you to give us your introduction.
Thank you very much indeed. Those of you who are interested where the surname comes from, I always say to people it comes from Wales. Because I do share a real distinction with one of our speakers, Julia, today. I was born about 5 miles away from where she was at the time, although much earlier than I'm sure in the past. So it's a real privilege personally to be here today. The REAL Centre is something that's really important within the university. It celebrates education, girls' education in particular, and education as a key to social transformation. A very short anecdote. One of my roles outside of Cambridge is that I chair the Research Advisory Board for the Department for International Development. And in that role, I spent a period of time looking at refugee camps and provisions within refugee camps in the Middle East. on one such occasion going to see one of these camps, you saw a lady with 3 children, all looking pretty dishevelled, looked pretty ramshackle, broken down facilities, and said, are you really that much better off elsewhere? What she said was nothing about food, nothing about water. Since my children have been here, they're getting educated, and that gives me hope. And those words have stuck with me forever and a day, and it's why, for me, education is right at the heart of everything that we have to do. It gives hope. Remove education, and where are you? You are going absolutely nowhere. So at whatever level you can hope to achieve, it is fundamental that education is so important, and this centre is going to be right at the heart of that. And this association, to be linked to CAMFED, is something that I'm very proud of. CAMFED is an amazing group of people who are striving to improve the educational opportunities for so many in disadvantaged part of the world. And yes, they have a particular focus on girls. And again, I will make no apology for that at all. To build up the educational profile in sub-Saharan Africa improves livelihoods of families, but also increases hope. And this partnership is something that goes to the heart of what Cambridge does. We have a very simple mission statement in Cambridge. I'm not about to read out a page of mission statement, aims, goals, and directions. Our mission statement is the simplest I have ever seen anywhere. It merely is one sentence long. It says, to serve society through teaching, learning, and research at the highest international standards of excellence. That's it. That's what it says on the tin. But remember how it starts, to serve society. And therefore, the conjunction of high-quality research with the opportunity to transfer that into practice for real benefit goes right to the heart of what the university is about. These challenges, and those who are most marginalised, are the ones who actually can benefit most. I'm looking at Pauline Rose because I'm delighted that she's joined us here in Cambridge and the work that she does, both for DFID but also for UNESCO beforehand. The ability to show that quality of teaching makes a difference, a huge difference to children's lives. The statistic that I was very impressed with in my own world of health was a statistic that comes through that report, that as long as you educate girls, you will reduce maternal mortality and you will reduce childhood deaths without changing the healthcare system at all, just because you have somebody who's better educated. I had the privilege of working in West Africa for periods of time, and I was taken as to how difficult it is to practice medicine in those areas. 3 languages in the areas I worked in, Mandinka, Wolof and Fula. West Africa, Senegal, Gambia borders. Those 3 languages have no word for cancer. Imagine trying to deal with cervical cancer as a problem where you cannot even get the concept across because there isn't the educational background to even begin to understand the concept. Weight loss equated to tuberculosis. Okay, their experience as life expectancy was rising, cancer incidence was coming to the forefront, but it was extremely difficult. Again, what was needed was not more drugs, but better education and earlier investment in time. So today, we're joined by an amazingly distinguished panel, Julia Gillard from the Global Partnership for Education, and Hans Brakstad from the Norwegian government. They've shown immense leadership in promoting education for the most marginalised and girls in particular. Education of girls matters. I sometimes think the MDG missed a big trick in that they did not focus on that. I'm glad that's being put right in the sustainable goals, that it's being put on an equal footing. But the challenge to make sure it is equal is the challenge that REAL has to rise to, particularly and associated with CAMFED. And as such, I am absolutely delighted today to say that this is a real immense addition to the panoply of what's available here in Cambridge. I wish you all well, and believe me, for the time that remains for me within this university, I'll be keeping a very close eye on the progress.